Okay, so ready to start a new project. We're gonna go either here to new project or file, new project. There's also a keyboard shortcut. What's that keyboard shortcut? Can anyone tell me what that symbolizes? You guys know these symbols here? Yep, well, Shelly's the expert in how she knows. Option, command, and how do you remember that means option? What's my trick? Anyone know?
Walk like an Egyptian?
Yeah. Well, I think of somebody saying, I've got options.
Okay.
Just because, I got options.
Do you remember that somebody?
Remember what somebody?
I don't know.
Oh, somebody from the past? No. Options doesn't always have to be dating options, right? It can be other options. It can be career options or other things, food options. Okay. Oh, there she is. Okay, option command N. Make a new project. File new project. We're starting a new project. Okay, so we're going to name this last name followed by your first initial dash. Did I say what to name it in the assignment? Let's see, on Canvas. Maybe I didn't say what to name it. So let's say we want to call it last name first initial dash chroma key, because this is the chroma key assignment. Chroma key, like that. Last name first initial dash chroma key. Then very important, we want to choose where we are going to save this. So we change the location by clicking on where? Browse button, right? Browse. And then we're going to choose our location. Very important, we choose the documents area unless you have a nice fast hard drive that you have plugged in through a USB 3.0 cable or something like that. So documents area, I'm going to choose my folder for the class and just park it there. So documents area, folder for the class, that's where you can save your project. Choose. So it's going to be called last name first initial dash chroma key. And it's going to documents area, my folder for the class. Does everyone have that? Awesome. So everything else you can just leave alone. General settings, all those are good. Scratch disk settings, all those are good. Ingest settings, we're not playing with right for this one. So we're just going to click OK. Everyone with me? Click OK at the bottom. Awesome. We are there. So now you have your chroma key project. Now it doesn't have anything in it yet, but that's what we're going to do next. So we are going to import a folder. So we can go File, Import, or Command I. And I'm going to start by demonstrating with the Romel Adventure and see how well we can do on that one. So documents area, I'm going to go to my folder for the class. Very important that you are not importing from where? We don't import from the shared area. We don't import from Adult Mac 1, okay? So we import from the documents area, or from, if you have a hard drive where you're keeping everything, not from a flash drive, but from a big fast hard drive. Documents area, my folder for the class, and I want to go to the Romel Adventure. So I could just take the whole folder. It has all the green screen so that I don't have to go and import these things separately. I mean, I could do that too, and import the files, but I'm just going to click on the folder and see if it takes the whole folder and click import. Okay, everyone there? So I got the whole folder here in my project panel, and I'm gonna go to list view because I like to see with list view, then I can flip the folder open like this and just see that it got everything. And I can see my icons better. You can make your icons bigger too with the slider at the bottom of the project panel. So you can see I've got some images. Those icons represent images. And I've got what other type of icons here? What are these?
Video and sound.
Video clips, yep. If you want, then you can also double click on your folder and it opens it up as a separate bin. And this one, maybe I want to make this one my thumbnail view so I can kind of see what's going on at a glance here. And I can see my backdrops and I can see Romel and the different shots. And maybe I want to start with the wide shot that we did last. The winning one was at the end. So later we can cut from the wide to the close-up, to a winning close-up. We did multiple takes here. And maybe then cut to his feet dangling at the end like that. Ooh, that's pretty good. You guys got it. When you mouse over the clip, you can kind of scrub through and see what's going on there. Just choose the dangling feet of your choice. I'm gonna see what this one is, 106. So I'm gonna double click on it, and then where does it go? It goes into source, so I can actually play it forward. There I am slating. This is the wide shot take 3. Is this the last one we did? That was the winning one?
The third one was the best one.
Okay, so this, hopefully this should be the winner. So, okay, so I'm going to mark after I leave the shot there. I'm going to make, okay, I'm going to do, maybe back a little bit. I'm going to do, before he starts acting it out, right about there, I'm going to press I to mark my in, or click on this button if you like. Mark in, and then play that forward. Oh, I guess action is later. But we shot room tone, so if you want to use all this where our director Tony is talking, you can just replace his talking with room tone. That's the beauty of room tone. If you wanted to use like more of that, or you can start after he says action. So I can mark my in again, pressing I to reset my in after Tony says action. Or maybe I want a little more room before that, so I can drag my in out longer and just use some of that at the beginning and then replace it with room tone for the audio.
That's the last time I'm going out with Dora.
All right, I think we got a winner. So then I press O. So in and out, I mark the section. And if I don't want to, if I didn't remember the settings that we used on the camera, we were just so, it was such a rough and dirty, quick, on the fly shoot. We didn't even pay attention to our settings. Then what do? Then we can't really, it's hard to go and make a new sequence this way or by going to file new sequence, because then we have to know our settings, right? So if we don't know our settings, not to worry, Premiere makes it very foolproof. We can just simply drag our clip. So I'm working with the 106 clip. We can just drag the clip, the 106 clip right there, to the new item button, right? And that will generate a sequence. So now I have a sequence that's named after the clip I just dragged to the new item button. Now this is a sequence. If I go back to my project panel, now you can see, if I flip open Romel Adventure, you can see I've got a new icon. I've got images we saw, video clips. Oh, look, What's that? What's this? What's this icon? There's my sequence that I just created. So I can rename this sequence by selecting it and clicking one more time, and then I want to name it something. So I could name it, I'm just going to go ahead and name it the same name as the whole project. Or you could call it like edit version 1 or whatever you want to call it if you're going to do multiple versions of the edit. But I'm going to name it last name, first initial dash Chroma Key, because chances are it's going to take the name of the sequence when you go to make your export your final file, and I want your final file to be named this so that I can find it to give you credit when you turn it into the Dropbox. So this is your main project is this sequence. Now I don't want this sequence to be inside of this folder, so I'm gonna just drag the sequence out by dragging it to the left until, see, at this point it's telling me no, you can't drag here, but if I keep going to the left, it's gonna go out of the folder. So now if I close the folder, I gotta get to the top here. If I close this folder in my project panel, now the sequence is on the outside. So I can get to it easily. So the footage is in the folder, the sequence is outside. If you want to make a separate folder for sequences, you can, but that's if you're gonna have multiple sequences, which you might or not. Okay, so let's talk about taking out the green background. How are we going to do that? Okay, there are a few steps. You guys ready? Okay, so the first step is we need to get rid of the garbage stuff. In the industry, they refer to anything that's not like a pure green as garbage. So all the stuff in the background here is garbage, because you can't just make it disappear by color so easily because there are so many different colors. Look at the ladder. It's orange, yellow. So the idea of chroma key, of green screen, is you can select by color and then make a certain color transparent. So we can make all the green transparent. And green is a good contrast to our subject, Romel. And any human being, green is usually a good contrast for. Well, pretty much any flesh tone, no matter what ethnicity, green is always a good contrast to. It's an opposite to flesh tone. Does anyone know why? Why do we use green or blue as the common background? You can use any background.
Red.
What was that?
Because people are red.
Yeah, people have what running through their veins? Blood. So blood always gives our flesh tone a warm color, which is opposite to cool colors like green and blue. So we want something to contrast flesh tone so we don't have chunks of flesh disappearing. We want, I know that sounds morbid, but we want to only make the green disappear and keep our subject intact. So we want to get rid of all these excess colors and things like this that we don't want to see, or heavy wrinkles. So to do that, we can select our clip. And this is a great new feature in Premiere. If you select your clip, you go to Effect Controls, then in the Opacity section, you can flip that open and we can use our pen tool, or if you prefer, you can drag out a box with the rectangle tool, but you could just free draw with the pen tool. So let's try the pen tool. And as soon as I click the pen tool, it adds a mask. And then to draw with the pen tool, I just want to make straight lines. So to make straight lines, you just click. You don't click and drag like you might intuitively think to draw a line. You just click to plot point. So just click. Unless you're making curves, you click and drag. But in this case, I'm just making corners. So I'm just clicking. I'm going inside to cut this stuff out. So I'm trying to make a box around our subject, cutting out stuff I don't want with the least number of points possible. I'm just clicking, and then every time I click, a line is going to shoot from one point to the next. And then click, and then you go to the first point that you made, and you see a circle. That means I'm going to close my mask. Click, and that closing of the mask will make the mask work so that anything outside of the mask will be disappeared. Black is a representation of transparency in video. Oops. Be careful, because if you click on a point, it's going to follow your cursor around until you click again to drop it down. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now I have this mask here. And we want to scrub through and make sure that Romel's hand doesn't get cut off by our mask. So I can stretch it out to there. There we go. All right, I think that works. So check by scrubbing through, make sure Romel's hand didn't get cut off from your mask. Looks pretty good. Okay, does everyone have a mask? Awesome. Okay, so this first step is to add a mask if you need one, to cut out any garbage on the sides. And then the next step is we're going to add our keying effect, which is a very powerful keying effect. It really works well. So we need to go to our effects panel. So if you don't see your effects panel, if you're in the editing workspace and you don't see the effects panel in your project panel frame set, then where do you go? You go to the little arrows on the side. Bring up effects. There's effects. I'm going to drag my effects tab over to be next to my project panel. Maybe next to the Romel Adventure. And then I can jump back and forth between my main three tabs that I want are the project panel, the Romel Adventure bin where I can see all my thumbnails of footage, and effects. So we're going to look in effects, we're going to look in video effects, and we're going to look in the category called keying. Does anyone know why we call this category of effects keying effects? Which take out a certain color, to key out a certain color. We call it chroma keying. Makes that color transparent. Anyone know? These industry people, they come up with the darndest terms. What do you think that these industry people were naming this after when they came up with the term keying? Anyone from the industry know the backstory? Well, Tony knows, right?
Yeah. Keying the car.
Keying a car, right? When somebody wants revenge on somebody, they just get jealous and they don't like your car, and it's nasty, right? Nasty thing to do. But that's what some people are down and dirty, and they take their key to somebody's car and scratch off the paint, right? That's what that is named after. We're taking out the color, okay? So you can remember that. Okay, so these industry people, they came up with that. I didn't come up with it. Okay, so keying. I'm going to open that up. The best one to use for this is the Ultra Key. It's the most powerful, the one at the bottom of the list. And the same way that we apply any effect, you can use your favorite method to apply an effect. Select the clip, double click the effect, or drag it to effect controls, Or if you don't have your clip selected, you could just drag the effect right into the clip. Did you see how it had a plus on it when I dragged it in there? And now the clip is selected, and in the effect controls for the clip, I see the Ultra key is now added to the effect controls, so I can make my adjustments. Does everyone have the Ultra key on your clip now? Awesome. So I've added the effect, Ultra key. Now nothing happened yet, pretty much. The first step to using the Ultra key is you need to choose the color that you're going to key. So key color, you do that by grabbing the eyedropper. You click on the eyedropper and you choose a general green color that you see a lot of. So whatever pixel I click on, it's going to make pixels that are that color disappear, and any color that's similar to that color disappear. So I click on a general green, and then all those green pixels disappear. And remember, black is just a representation of transparency. You can see that some of the, like over here, the green was brightly lit by the light. So you can still see, it looks like a black cloth now. You can still see some highlights on this surface. So now we're going to look at how to clean things up and make everything look pure black. Or you could put in the background to see what the background's going to look like. But we could try, well, you want to see the background? Let's try what this is going to look like with the background. So for the background, what I need is to separate the video part and put it on video 2. So I'm just going to drag video up to video 2. You could put your audio to audio 2 to be consistent. And then we're going to need to put underneath, or you could leave your audio if you're not going to add anything there. Video 1, now we need to put under it, under video 2, on video 1, we want to put our background. So we can go into the bin where we can see all the thumbnails, and I can find my image, and I can drag it to video 1, and then I can stretch it out. By clicking on the end, you can stretch out. So they match. Now you can really see the parts that are, the part of that green that was too bright is still seen there as like a light gray. And parts of the green screen are still there. So now to clean it out. So we go back, click on the top clip, that's Romel. And we're just going to go down in the Ultra key and start fixing stuff. So the first category in the Ultra key is matte generation that you flip open. And then you could try adjusting the transparency a little bit. But not too much, because you don't want to make Romel get transparent. So just a little bit. The highlight, see what that does? When I adjust the highlight to the left, it's taking the highlight down. That was a highlight on the green. Shadow, you can go back and forth. That's helping get rid of this thing right here, this shadow. That's cleaning that up. So it's getting cleaner, right? Tolerance, you can drag back and forth and see if that helps. If nothing's really happening, well, a little bit. Getting rid of some of the little highlights there by adjusting tolerance. So I have transparency at 47, I have a highlight and shadow at 0, and I have tolerance at 100 right now. Pedestal usually does the trick. Pedestal refers to black, and usually pedestal really cleans things up. When you adjust pedestal, I still see a little edge there. That can be fixed by adjusting my mask. So I can go back up to opacity and click on my mask 1 so I can see my mask, and when I mouse over the edge here of the mask, I automatically get a pen tool with a plus, which means what? I can do what? Click to add a point, and then I can pull that in a little bit, and then let me click outside of mask 1 and see that really cleaned up that edge. So he looks pretty clean now already with just adjusting the options in matte generation. But you might also want to try matte cleanup, has options. So I closed up matte generation, then I'm going to matte cleanup. And then with matte cleanup, you have what's called the choke, another fun industry term, to bring in, choke will be bringing in the selection around your subject. If you bring in the choke, I don't know if you can tell. If you want to zoom in, you can go down to the zoom level and like zoom in and then really see the edges. I'm just scrolling up here. So you can see there's some green on the edges still on his hand. So that can be brought in, the edges can be brought in by increasing the choke amount, but you don't want to go too much. That's called a digital haircut. And you can also clean up the green when we get to spill suppression. So you might not want to choke it too far. Just leave a little bit, maybe very slightly choked in. Okay, 3, I'll say. And then you can also soften the edges. That helps make things look more natural, softening. Then maybe you soften too much, so you bring up the contrast on the edges. Midpoint, also kind of where you're bringing in the edges. Okay, so that's matte cleanup, is how you're, bringing in the edges, trimming off the edges, matte choke, or spreading the edges out wider. You can go back and forth on the matte cleanup. That's the matte. The matte refers to what is showing the area. Matte is the area around our subject that we have to work with. Okay, so then there's spill suppression. So if we still see some green on the edges, spill suppression works to neutralize the green edges, or if there is reflected green light on our subject. Spill suppression, that's called spill. That will neutralize that green. So if I go to desaturate and I increase desaturation, it should make the green look less green. I can also flip any of these arrows and use the slider here if you prefer, rather than dragging on the numbers. Ooh, but if you go too far, you make your subject black and white. That's fully desaturated. So just a little bit on desaturation. And then range you can play with. Ooh, look at that. Range is bringing in magenta, which is the opposite of green, right? That's part of neutralizing. So if you add the opposite of green, you're neutralizing the green. So I'm adding a little range in there. And then spill. If you go too far on spill, you're kind of making our subject look more warm in skin tone, also neutralizing the green. And then luma, we know about luma, right? The brightness, darkness and brightness. So it's adjusting the colors of the green. Then once you do all that spill suppression, you might have changed the color of your subject too much. So then you have color correction built right into the Ultra Key effect. So you can adjust things like the saturation of your subject, the hue. Look, I can make him green. So you can run through the hues, like refers to different colors, to get the right skin tone back. luminance, dark to light. Remember luminance to brighten them up. So you can do a little color correction built right into the Ultra Key. Pretty cool, huh? So you try to get him to look natural. And then we go back out to fit. And now we see him. I think I messed up his colors. Let me go back to Ultra Key. Spill suppression. Maybe I want to reset something like in spill suppression. Maybe I put too much spill, so I can reset. And then maybe on color correction, I went crazy with the hue, so let me reset that. Reset. You can always reset stuff. There, I think he looks better. Reset. There, I think he looks better. So all right, so then we see what he looks like. Now, to make this look more real, we have a few things we can do. We can select the land, the cliffside, and we can play with the motion of it if we click on motion for the effect controls. And then we can move it around. We can open up motion options and we can change the scale. So we can scale it by dragging on the scale number there. So you get your little hand with your finger, you drag back and forth, side to side to get the right. So maybe for this one, let's see, and I can drag it around. And that's probably too small, so make it bigger and position it and see if we can get that positioned right. And then we can also position Romel. So we can click on motion and we can drag him around, but we don't want that. We want to make sure he's lined up with the bottom of the frame. Maybe have him in more, closer to the hill. Maybe that will look more natural.
Quiet on the set, and action.
And maybe if he's up higher. No, that won't work. Or if the hill, the land is down lower. Remember, you got to click on motion if you want to drag it. Scaled smaller. Oh no, it's gotta be. But what we could do to make it more believable is to cut this one down shorter, cut to the close up, and cut to the dangling feet, and we might be able to just copy our Ultra Key effect so that we basically get it in the ballpark range for all of them. Let's see, the land can be moved.
Feet seem to be way harder to keep.
Oh yeah?
Because there's a lot of shadows and highlights, and a lot of shadows mostly in the creases.
Oh. Maybe we should trim off this part at the beginning. Let me see. Zoom in. And then I can trim Romel to here. And then drag him back. Let's go after action to there. Okay, maybe, yeah, that kind of works there. Okay, and then let's see if how he falls.
That's the last time I'm going out with Dora.
Okay, it's really funny right now. Okay, so we not very believable yet.
That's the last time I'm going out with Dora.
But that's comedy. Okay, let's see. We probably want to cut on action. I know you guys have been mastering last quarter. You guys should be experts on cutting on action. So we can find the close-up. There's a third take there. and find something similar action, like where he's raising his arm to cut to. Let's see here. He just took off his glasses himself.
This is the last time I'm going out with Dora.
Let's see. Maybe somewhere in here. So let's say I want to cut from here, so I could do I and O to just get some a close-up part in there. And
That's the last time I'm going out with Dora.
let's see. Or maybe I want to cut like earlier to after he loses his glasses. So I could even move this around in here. Let's see. So after he loses his glasses, like right there. So I do in there,
This is the last time I'm going out with Dora.
maybe I want that to be, maybe I want to cut to the close-up of him saying the words. Okay, so if I want to do that, instead of this, the wider shot, I want to overwrite with the close-up. So I want to find that same moment in time, which he did multiple takes here. So also I'm going to click the button editor and add play to in to out. Click OK so I can see where I'm starting.
This is the last time I'm going out with Dora.
Okay, so if I can use the go to in or shift I. Can you guys whisper back there, please? Sorry. Okay, so I want to find a moment in time where he looks like this in the wide shot, because that's where I want, which is almost impossible because he did this multiple takes. It's not actually the same moment, but this is pretty good right here. Let's see. But he's already talking, so it was before he's talking, like maybe right here. So I got my in and my out. I got my point in time where I want to my third point in 3-point editing, my point of insertion, and I'm gonna be putting this on what video track? Anyone know? What video track should I put this on? Are you sure? Because 1 is the land. 2. I'm gonna just overwrite. So I'm going to go to video 2, so I'm going to highlight video 2, and I need to patch video 1 to video 2, so I need to drag video 1 source to video 2, like that. Now I can just overwrite by clicking that button or pressing what key? Period, right? Period. So it comes in there, and it overwrote. Also, it went to the audio track 1. The audio got overwritten as well as the video. And now let's see what that's going to look like. Okay.
This is the last time I'm going out with Dora.
Okay, so let's see what happens if I select this clip here. And I can either go to Effect Controls and select Alt key and copy it and then paste it onto this clip. Or I can select this clip and hit Command C to copy, and then select this next clip that doesn't have the Alt key on it. And I can go to Edit, Paste Attributes, which is, what's that keyboard shortcut there? Is that your final answer? What's this? I've got options. Command V. Option Command V. Okay, so then it gives you options here, like do I want the opacity? Opacity had a mask, so maybe I don't want opacity because I don't need a mask on this one. I just want Ultra Key, so I can uncheck what I don't want and just have checked what I want. I want Ultra Key to be pasted on this clip. So then I can just say OK. All right. The only problem is, because this is a close-up, this section of the image needs to be adjusted. So I can do that using my razor blade. Normally I don't use, well, the razor tool. Normally I don't use it, but this is a case where it comes in handy to razor blade this. So I'm just going to razor blade, lining up under the cuts, razor blade, click, and then I can select just this middle section here and change the size, right? Because it shouldn't be so far out. This is the close-up, so we got to see the close-up version of this image. So then where do we go? For the image, while the image is selected, we go to motion. We bring up the scale, maybe adjust the position, X and Y up and down, position side to side, X. Or you can click on motion and just drag it around manually. So find somewhere where it's going to look good. I just scaled it above its actual size, which means I'm losing resolution on the image, but it still looks fine to me. If you want to keep it at 100, you can try that and see if it still looks good size for what we're going for here. Or does that look too far away? Or you could bring him in a little bit so he has something to grab onto there. All right, so that could work. So he kind of looks more believable now, right? And look, it did a fine job for this one. I guess we'll have to see with the dangling feet how that goes. But just copying the effect from one clip to the next is working there. So let's see how that looks.
This is the last time I'm going out with Dora.
So it was pretty good, but a little off in the action because we really want the same moment, the cutting on action, to be kind of fluid, which is kind of hard with doing multiple takes, which is what we did. But we want his arm to, we want his action to be matching so that as he's reaching his arm up, so they connect. So we could do that with the ripple tool to some extent. So if I take the ripple tool and I select the end of this clip here, let me zoom in with plus, then I can either drag out to the right to extend the clip longer or drag to the left to shorten the clip. Maybe I want to find him like, maybe I want him to be extending his arm a little bit more, so I can drag to the right. Now we can see the two up. We really want to try to get him to be looking like he's in the same position on the out point of the previous clip, matching with the end point of the second clip. Now it's looking maybe a little better, maybe here. And notice that I have a little gap here, so I have to extend my image out. Okay, and then on the previous clip, I can also use my ripple edit tool and try to match. So I can drag to the left so that his arm is kind of in the same position. And then I need to also use my selection tool to extend my image underneath. Okay, so that action might be matching a little bit better. And we also want to make this, well, let's see. Is the action matching a little
Looks like
bit?
he's trying to grab the branch, you know.
Kind
'Cause I think that
Yeah.
works. Yeah, I think it works.
of works.
This is the last time I'm going out with Dora.
Okay. All right. I think we gotta get his feet dangling before he falls, though, huh? That'll be great.
Yeah.
So then we go get the feet. Let's go find the feet dangling. Which one do you think is the best take? The last one? This one?
That one may be the best one, yeah.
Okay, so let's double click 108 and check out what's there. I didn't get to see the shoot on this one, so let's see.
And rolling, this is take 2, close up of feet, and go for it.
All right, go for it. Okay, let's just press I on after go for it. All right, that's some good foot action. Now I can see what Shelly's talking about there, about all those crazy wrinkles in there. How are we gonna deal with that one? Was the other tick? Let me just mark out there. But was the other tick less wrinkles? Let's see.
I think the ideal way to do this, and Nabi will be ready for it probably the next session, is when you're working in a green screen studio, the ladder is painted green.
Oh yeah.
The chairs
Oh.
are the chairs are green, everything's green.
Oh, we gotta get ourselves a green ladder. That's
Yeah.
what we need.
Or you just buy the paint, the green screen paint, and we just paint it ourselves.
Oh. Is that cheaper than buying a green ladder?
Yeah, because if you get any other things that you want to key, you can just paint it.
Okay. I think maybe there's less wrinkles in 107 though. So let me try 107. So let's see if we want to overwrite a section here, like maybe there, or just before he falls, like somewhere where it looks really fake and we want to overwrite it. Where does he look really fake? Like right there? Does he look fake? Like that looks kind of fake, right? So we'll put the feet there. So then we this time I don't want to put the audio because I like the audio that's going with this clip already. So I only want to overwrite the video. So what do I need to do? What do I need to do here? Get rid of or deselect the source indicator for audio, and that should be all I need to do. Let's see. And then I've got my play it in the right place for my point of insertion. I've got in and out, and here we go, period, right? Overwrite. Ooh, that was a little lengthy. Let me undo that, Command Z. That's a little too much. So I'm gonna do really short and see, because I don't want it to take over the whole thing. So then period, drops it in, that's good. So now we have, all right, I like that. And then he's falling. Oh, but maybe that's a little too long, so I could still take my ripple tool and I can click on the end of that clip and actually no, I need the roll tool, right?
I was wondering about that.
Command Z. I used the wrong tool. Thank you very much, Tony,
No, I was just wondering.
for I'm glad that you were wondering about that. Okay, so ripple, let's go to rolling. Because what we want is what's different about ripple and rolling, right? You guys remember? Is ripple is going to trim only one side of the clip and just pull in the other clip and not affect it, but just move it over. But with rolling, you're going to be trimming one side of the clip while extending the next clip over. So I'm going to be doing both sides at the same time. So I'm not going to be changing the full length, what you saw with the ripple, what I did. Let me just zoom in here with plus. I can also stretch this up. And then I'm going to just click and drag to the left because I want more of, see in the 2-up display, you can see Romel, how he's clutching the side of the clip. I want to see more of that. So I'm I want to see less of the feet and more of Romel falling. It's just more exciting that way. So I'm going to release there, and then I'm going to see the feet and falling. Love it. Okay, now let's see what we can do as far as the Ultra Key. So this time I'm going to try to copy and paste the Ultra Key again, a different way. Oh, maybe I want to slip this clip a little because I want to see more of the foot, and I want to see a little bit more. I like the length of this, but I want to see a little more of the beginning of this shot, because if I were to double click this clip from my timeline and then zoom out, then it will show up in my source. I'm going to zoom out to see what's before, what's my handle room, what am I missing that was actually shot before in this clip here. Okay, so go to this. Actually, it is at an okay place. Actually, it's fine. You could try slipping it, because if I take the slip tool, I can slip the content in this clip one way or the other, and as I'm dragging to the left, I'm changing where I'm starting in the clip and where I'm ending. Or dragging to, if I drag too much to the right, you see what happens? I slipped the clip so that now he has his feet in place in the ladder. We don't want to see that, so I'm going to slip over to the left so that his feet are already up. Let's slip to the left some more. So his feet are already up. So that, can you see the 2-up display? Where his feet are the start of the clip to the end? And let's take a look. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now going back to the selection tool. I want to copy that Ultra Key effect that I like. So on this clip here, there's Ultra Key. If I go to Effect Controls, I'm going to select Ultra Key, Command C to copy it, and then go to this other clip and just go to Effect Controls for this other clip, Command V to paste. Ooh. Oh no, it moved him. Oh, no, never mind. It didn't move him. It was just that I need to adjust the background now, and I need to adjust the Ultra Key because it looks, yeah, terrible.
You don't do the copy attributes on this one?
I was just showing you another way you could do it. Instead of copy paste attributes, you could just copy the Ultra Key and paste it to the effect controls of a different clip. Just another way to do it. If you wanted to specifically just copy Ultra Key and paste it. Okay, then I'm going to just go with my razor blade tool and go under this clip and line up to the cuts in the clip and click on my my cliff side, and I definitely need to select my cliff side, go to motion, adjust the positioning, adjust the size of it. I can go back to 100% and make it look more believable. Like, where would his feet be hanging?
The rock.
Like on the side of the rock, like, or like this?
I would go a little bit more to the sky. That way you can see the feet more, you know, because if you put it up against the rocks, you really can't see the feet dangling that well because of the shade, you know, the darkness.
Like that? Does that look good? Okay, we just need to clean that Ultra Key on those feet. So Ultra Key on the feet, we select that, open up Ultra Key, and we just need to go into matte generation and adjust, bring the transparency, adjust the transparency, and just adjusting the transparency is already pretty good. What else? Highlight, you can go one way or another. Shadow, try shadow. Try tolerance. All right, have a good one, Shelly. Try pedestal. Go into matte cleanup. Try choke one way or the other. See what choke's gonna do for you. Soften. Contrast. See what's gonna fix it. Midpoint, is midpoint gonna fix the edges? Soften, maybe soften. Oh yeah. So that's how you do it. So let's see what the whole thing looks like. So from beginning. Oops.
This is the last
You
time
may
I'm
need
going
to
out
turn
with
that.
Dora.
All right, and there you have it. So
Good job,
some
Natalie.
things kind of need to be adjusted on the trimming
The sound, you have to,
with the,
The footage, right?
because he's making a sound, huh?
yeah.
Like there. So we need to trim out the sound a little bit to smooth things out. Let's see, zoom in. See if I adjust the sound one way or the other. Or I could do, you know what would work probably? A J cut or an L cut. So if I do, like if I want to do a J cut or an L cut, I can take my rolling tool and what keyboard key do I need to press if I only want to affect the video cut? You guys remember?
I thought you were adjusting only the audio, not the video.
Yeah, maybe you're right, but maybe I should just do the audio. So I could go to the audio and just click on the audio cut, option click to just, if I option click, then I can just select the audio cut and I can drag that to the left a little bit. That would make this be a J, right? But maybe that won't work. So, I mean, it's,
You know what
oops,
originally I was
Nancy.
thinking is the sound,
mm-hmm.
do the keyframing where it gradually, once it comes in.
Oh, you mean like change the volume levels gradually?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work, or putting a transition on the cuts. But we want to see if we can get the cut right first. So probably I should start with the ripple tool to just either extend it one way or the other. So if I extend it longer, then we can see. But see, now I have to go and extend this one underneath. So it is a little bit tricky to get. Maybe instead of putting the background in prematurely, you should probably cut the green screen together before doing all the effects so that it flows well first. I was a little bit too hasty, but I wanted to show you all the excitement first before I got to the editing. But really, you should try to, let's say I want to trim to there. So I'm going to take my ripple tool, trim to here. Nope. Now it's not letting me because of sync lock. Sync lock will not let me. So I'm going to have to turn off the sync lock so that it lets me, by turning that off, then it should let me there. Then it lets me use my ripple tool. It still feels cut, something feels cut off. Let me just adjust it. Or there's a sound in there, right? Let me zoom in here and trim this sound to the left. Oh, but then it looks like a jump. So but that could be, let me just turn off the background because I don't want it to mess me up what I'm looking at when I'm just trying to connect the two cuts here. So you see his hand in the wide shot, it's positioned down. We need it to match from wide to close. But there's a problem because his hand is in a different position from wide to close. So I need to adjust with my ripple tool to get the hand to be in a more similar position. I think that works. Does that look right? Yeah. That has flow and the sound flows. So finally, I think I've got it. And then on this one, I can roll that cut. Clicking on the cut here for the background, and I can roll it to line up with the cuts in Romel's footage, and then show. There we go.
This is the last time I'm going out with Dora.
but some things are just kind of let's see. Oh, some things are got a little messed up because of all my rippling. So then I need to line up. Yeah, I need to line up some stuff. So I just use my roll tool and roll the cuts over. So I have this one, this one, this one. This one needs to be rolled over to there. There we go. All right, I think that works. Here we go. Let's see if that works.
Like for real, yeah.
This is the last time I'm going out with Dora.
All right. Hey, Romel, you made it. Woo. The star is here. Okay, no worries. All right. So we were having some fun with your great talent there.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's a wrap on that